For BWDE News, this is Daniel D. reporting from Jacksonville, Florida, in the lovely neighborhood of Arlington, where a very unique crime has occurred and has drawn the attention of the entire community. Allegedly, Tommy and Terry Lodge, the owners of a local restaurant, attacked a senior citizen and veteran off-site at the American Legion and are now facing felony charges. We meet today with Bob, who spends most of his free time and some of his paid time off walking the sidewalk in front of the restaurant.
Bob, thank you for letting us stop and take a moment to chat with you. I understand you've been out here for a while, and you were also in court today, is that right?
Yes, sir. They had a court date, which was for an arraignment. They have felony charges against both the owners. A third-degree felony against the wife and a second-degree felony against the husband for beating up a 66-year-old senior citizen veteran of the United States.
And we have followed some of the events, and from everything we've seen, these have been real peaceful protests. Is that your experience?
Yes, we've been completely peaceful. We've had them call the city a few times to complain that we are stepping into their parking space, things like that. But we've been completely peaceful out here. We've had a couple people come out and express negative reactions coming out of the bar, but I think that was mostly alcohol talking on their part.
We've actually, and there's one of your honkers now. So does that help you kind of keep up the pace and stay out here when folks do that?
Yes, sir. It's been wonderful out here. The people have been great. We've had folks stop by, deliver water, Gatorade, sandwiches. One guy gave us a case of Yingling, but we'll pass on that. But we certainly appreciate the people's support.
Right on. Now, another thing we heard, and we haven't been able to confirm this yet, but we understand that there's actually a video of not either of the owners, but perhaps a family member actually running off a disabled Vietnam veteran who happens to be a man of color, and apparently they used a very derogatory term for his race. Were you here for that by any chance?
Yes, I wasn't here to hear any of the wording, but she came into the parking lot at a high rate of speed, pulled into the parking spot right over here, and she jumped out of her car and immediately started yelling at the guy. I couldn't hear the words being said, but immediately a bunch of our folks went running over just to make sure he was going to be okay, because their reputation so far hasn't been very good.
Well, we certainly appreciate the information and your time, and it's an incredibly hot day here in Jacksonville. And
it was hotter overseas.
Now, you're obviously a veteran.
Yeah,
what
United
branch of the
States
service?
Navy, 20 years, retired back in 1999.
Now, our understanding also is that this is not just a veteran boycott. There's civilians involved as well.
Correct. We've had lots of folks from the community coming out. Our first day that we kicked off, well over 200 people came out here to protest with us, and we've had lots of support since then.
So we've seen, Bob, we've seen several stories in the past involving this particular restaurant. Maybe not this location, but other stories, kind of a history of this type of behavior. What about this event do you think it was that brought the community together the way it has?
It was a poor old fella. He's a veteran. He went out for a drink, and next thing you know, these two just waited for him to walk out of the bar and then beat back at him. The pictures were just horrible. What happened to that fella? You see his tooth laying on the ground, face all swelled up. It was just an immediate reaction of support for the guy, especially when they showed the pictures of the two that were arrested, the Wing Depot owners, and they had barely a scratch on them. There was no call for what they did. It was completely acceptable.
So it was a bit of a last straw for the community as well as the veterans as well.
Yes, sir. There's been no apology. There's been no attempt to try to make restoration to help pay for Mr. Hughes' medical or dental bills, which I'm sure are quite excessive at this point. So we definitely feel bad for him, and we don't understand why the owners haven't taken responsibility for their actions.
Well, we will keep following the story, and Bob, thank you so much for allowing us to join you on the sidewalk today. Is there anything else you'd like to say in closing?
Well, hello to my wife of 34 years. We just had our anniversary, but she's letting me come out here and have fun anyway.
Congratulations, and thank you for sharing Bob with the community.
Thank you.
All right,
Have a
Bob,
good
thank
day, sir.
thank you so much.
Worth noting about what we learned today is that the incident in question also happened to have happened on Memorial Day weekend, which has quite a few veterans upset, as well as Mr. Hughes is still recovering from those injuries. One thing we could tell is that there's quite a bit of passion amongst the community, and of note was apparently the delivery truck that you can see here with the GFS on it was pretty much the only vehicle that pulled up, and this was basically during lunchtime today. So apparently the protests are working, and the community is all for justice in this particular situation. So thank you for all the BWDE news watchers, and we appreciate you. And until next time, Daniel D.